The alarm screamed at 2:14 a.m. Red lights flashed along the hallway of Chief Maxwell's new home. Felicia grabbed the baby and ran to the safe room. The nanny, Kioma, pushed the steel door and typed the code with shaking fingers. When the locks clicked, a heavy silence fell. Maxwell stood alone in the corridor, holding a thick metal flashlight. He moved slowly, step by careful step, from the nursery to the kitchen. A window latch was open. The cold night air brushed his face. Someone had been inside. He bent near the window and saw a line of sand on the tiles, like footprints wiped away too fast. On the counter, beside the fruit bowl, a square envelope sat, plain and white. His name was written on it with a neat, proud hand. Maxwell. He opened it. Inside, there were only 7 words. "Give me back what is mine. C." Maxwell's jaw tightened. C could only be Collins. But Collins was under police watch, right? Felicia called from the safe room, voice tight with fear. "Maxwell, are we safe?" "Yes," he lied gently. "Stay inside with Kioma and the baby." He called his head of security. He called the police contact. He closed the window. He walked the house again, checking every room, every door, every blind corner. When he reached the front door, he saw a camera light blink. The doorbell camera. It had been turned to face the wall. Whoever came knew where to look. Whoever came was careful. Whoever came wanted him scared. He looked at the note again. "Give me back what is mine. C." What did Collins think Maxwell had? Freedom. Power. The company. The story. The truth. Maxwell slipped the note into his pocket and went to the safe room. When Felicia opened the door, her eyes were wet but steady. She placed their baby in his arms. "Whoever did this," Maxwell said softly, "just made the biggest mistake of their life." By morning, security footage showed a shadow in a hoodie, hands in gloves, face covered, moving like a cat through the kitchen. No fingerprints. The only clear thing was a small badge pinned inside the hoodie when it flapped open for a second. A silver letter A. Felicia frowned. "What is A?" Maxwell stared at the frozen frame. "I don't know yet. But I will." At 9 a.m., a second blow landed. A court summons arrived at the gate, wrapped in a brown file. The stamp was red. The heading was loud. Motion for marital property and public damages. Applicant, Sandra Maxwell. Felicia closed her eyes. Maxwell squeezed her hand. "We'll fight this," he said, "with truth, with proof." His phone buzzed, a private message from an unknown number. "Nice night, old man. Ready for part 2. The sender's handle was 3 letters. Opt-A. Felicia whispered, "Option. A." Maxwell tucked the phone away. "Then we choose option truth." But the day had not finished with them. By noon, 3 gossip pages posted a rumor. Billionaire Chief Maxwell's new wife Felicia is the reason for his divorce. Sandra sues. Sources say Felicia planned the hotel scandal. Felicia trembled. Maxwell pulled her close. "Lies don't live long," he said, "but snakes do bite before they die." As night came, a soft knock sounded at the side gate. Security lights clicked on. The camera showed Anita, Sandra's elder sister, alone, holding a small black phone like it was hot. "Please," she said into the intercom, "I came to help." Maxwell met her at the patio with 2 guards standing back. Anita's eyes were swollen. Her voice was small. "Sandra is not safe. The people using her are worse than you think. I have proof. But I also have a warning." She placed the small phone in Maxwell's hand. "Listen to the folder called Option A." He pressed play. A man's voice filled the speakers, calm and cold, not Collins. Phase 1, public shame. Phase 2, legal freeze. Phase 3, board pressure. If Maxwell bends, we take the company. If he breaks, we take his name. Another voice answered, "Collins." "Understood." The calm voice said, "Leave the letter A at the scene. He will look in the wrong direction while we move." Maxwell paused the audio. "Who is the first voice?" Anita swallowed. "A lawyer, very powerful. He works for a man older than you, richer than you, and jealous of you." "What is his name?" Maxwell asked. Anita looked down. "They call him Chairman O'Cory, your old mentor." Felicia's hand found Maxwell's. It was shaking. Maxwell's throat went dry. "Chief O'Cory," Anita nodded, tears rolling. "He told Collins what to do. He told Sandra what to file. He has a judge in his pocket. And he has a plan, option A." The garden went silent. Only the leaves moved in the night wind. Maxwell looked at Felicia. He looked at Anita. He looked at the baby's window upstairs. "Then," he said softly, "we changed the plan." And for the first time since the hotel night, his eyes became fire. In the distance, a car stopped outside the gate. A black figure stepped out and lifted a phone toward the house. The camera light blinked red. Morning brought a crowd, cameras outside the court, a judge with a hard face, a courtroom full of whispers. Sandra sat with her lawyer, stiff and pale, dressed in white lace like a sad bride. She did not meet Maxwell's eyes. Felicia sat behind Maxwell, chin up, calm, heart pounding. Anita sat 2 rows back, head bowed, phone hidden in her bag. One of Maxwell's board members, Mr. Lawal, slipped into a side seat, checking his watch like a man with 2 appointments and 1 soul. The clerk called the case. The judge read the file. The lawyer for Sandra stood up with a smile too sharp. His name was Barrister Tager, the second voice on the recording. "Your Lordship," Tager said, "my client seeks what the law gives a wife, protection, property, and public correction. The respondent, Chief Maxwell, used media to destroy her image. We ask for a restraining order, and we ask the court to freeze his assets until we settle full damages." Maxwell's lawyer, Mrs. Omole, stood. She wore a sky blue suit and spoke steady. "Your Lordship, we have proof that this case is not about marriage. It is a business attack dressed like love. We have a recording. It shows a plan. A plan called Option A to shame my client, freeze his accounts, and force a board takeover." The judge's eyes flashed. "A recording? From what source?" "Anonymous," Mrs. Omole said, "but verifiable voice prints." Tager smiled thin. "Your Lordship, we object to playing illegal." The judge raised a palm. "Play it." The court went pin-drop silent. Omole pressed play. The voices filled the room, the calm planner and Collins agreeing step by step. Phase 1. Public shame. By the time it ended, even the ceiling fans seemed to stop turning. Tager cleared his throat. "Your Lordship, what we heard is not tied to my client. She is not in that recording." Omole's eyes hardened. "But your voice is." A ripple moved across the courtroom. Tager laughed softly. "Coincidence of tone, perhaps?" Omole held up a second phone. "Then let us do a live test. Say the words, Phase 1. The judge stared at Tager. "Say it." Tager's smile cracked. He looked at Sandra. Sandra looked down at her hands. Tager did not speak. The judge leaned back. "The court will not yet rule on property, but there is enough smoke to pause the fire. I deny the asset freeze. I will set a hearing to verify this recording and the voices inside it. Counsel, file your voice samples by tomorrow. Case adjourned." A breath moved through the room like a quiet wave. The reporters whispered and rushed to the door. Sandra stood slowly, eyes glossy. She turned to look at Maxwell for the first time. His face was strong, but not cruel. Her lips trembled. Then she looked away. Outside, microphones flew toward Maxwell. "Sir, who is behind Option A?" Is it Okori? Is Collins still working for him? Is Felicia part of this fight? Maxwell paused, then said one true sentence. I will not fight with noise. I will fight with facts. He entered the car with Felicia and closed the door. In the side mirror, he saw Tega make a quick phone call. The lawyer's mouth was hard, his eyes were cold. Felicia squeezed Maxwell's arm. This is bigger than gossip now. I know, Maxwell said. We must protect the company before phase 2 hits. At the office, trouble was already waiting. 2 banks sent notices. Temporary compliance review on your corporate accounts. A foreign partner asked for clarification on reputational risk. 3 board members wanted an emergency meeting. Mr. Lawal, the slim board member from court, knocked and entered with a deep sigh. Chief, some of us think you should step aside for now, just for 2 weeks. Let the smoke clear. Maxwell stared at him. Whose idea? Lawal looked at the floor. It came from an outside advisor. Chairman Okori, Maxwell asked. Lawal said nothing. Maxwell stepped close. Look at me, Lawal. I lifted you. I trusted you. Answer me. Lawal swallowed. Sir, Okori called me last night. He says investors are nervous. He says press is loud. He says I should bend. Maxwell finished for him. Lawal's eyes shone with shame. Sir, please, 2 weeks only. Felicia spoke from the doorway, voice quiet but sharp. 2 weeks to move the last piece in option A. Maxwell turned to her. She held Anita's little black phone in her hand. There's more, she said. A hidden folder I found this morning. It was buried under a fake calculator app. Files named A1, A2, A3. She played a clip, Collins again, sounding tired now. Lawal will push the board step. If Maxwell steps aside, we file the AML complaint, trigger bank review, then leak the charity account. Pause, Maxwell said. What charity account? Felicia scrolled. A PDF opened. It showed a foundation in Maxwell's name with small monthly outflows to unknown vendors. The name of the foundation was his mother's. He had never created it. Lawal's face drained of blood. Oh God, Maxwell's pulse thudded in his ears. They will say I launder money through this fake charity, he said. Phase 2, legal freeze. Felicia took his hand. Then we must be faster. How? He asked. She smiled sadly. We give them a show they think they planned. Then we close the door on them. Anita nodded. I can get Sandra to meet you. She is scared now. She will talk. Maxwell looked at Lawal. You will also help. Not by pushing me aside, but by booking a meeting with Okori, a private peace talk. Make it tonight. Lawal hesitated. He will smell a trap. Good, Maxwell said. Let him. Outside, thunder rolled over the city. The sky turned grey. The wind picked up. It felt like rain and war at the same time. As Felicia left the office, a dark SUV crept behind her car. A camera lens glinted in the rear window. Someone was following. The rain came hard and fast, beating the roof of the small cafe where Felicia sat with Anita. The table smelled of coffee and damp wood. At the corner, a ceiling fan hummed a tired song. Anita held a paper cup with both hands. Sandra is angry, she said softly, but she is not the pilot here. She's the passenger. If we can pull her out of the plane, it will crash before it reaches you. Felicia nodded. She had learned something about pain. People who drown try to pull others under, but if you hold a hand at the right time, you can drag them back to air. Where is she? Felicia asked. Anita looked at the door. Soon. 5 minutes passed. Then a woman in a black hoodie, face covered, slid into the seat beside them. Sandra pulled down the hood. Her eyes were red-rimmed. Her fingers twisted the napkin until it broke. Why did you come? Felicia asked gently. Sandra stared at the table. Rain drummed the world. Because I am tired. And because I don't want to burn forever. Felicia waited. Sandra whispered, "They promised me protection, money, land, a new car. They said you took my life. They said I must take yours. I believed them. Until yesterday, when I saw Tega's eyes in court, I realized I was not a queen. I was a tool." Felicia nodded. "Tell me about option A." Sandra spoke like a person pushing stones out of her chest. "Okori hates that you took his place in Maxwell's life. He hates that Maxwell no longer asks him for advice. Collins wanted the MD chair and the sweet deals. Tega wanted power and your house. They planned 3 phases: shame, freeze, board push. After that, they would leak the charity account and say Maxwell used poor children's money to buy cars and diamonds for you." Felicia's stomach turned. "And the A? It means answer," Sandra said bitterly. "They think they are the answer to Maxwell." Felicia leaned forward. "You can stop them." Sandra's hands shook. "I don't know if I can be brave." "You were brave to come," Felicia said. "Be brave one more time. Meet Tega tonight. Tell him Maxwell agreed to private peace with Okori. Tell him Maxwell will bring a bank officer to sign a silent settlement if the charity story disappears." Sandra blinked. "There is a bank officer." Felicia smiled. "There will be one. From the police." Sandra stared at her for a long second. Then her shoulders dropped. "I am ashamed," she said. Felicia's voice softened. "Shame is not the end. It is a door. Walk through it with the truth." Sandra covered her face for a moment. When she lowered her hands, her eyes were steadier. "Okay," she whispered. "I will do it." They stood to leave. The rain had thinned to a silver mist. Felicia hugged Anita quickly and stepped toward her car. She noticed a dark SUV parked 2 cars away, engine running, wipers sweeping slow. She unlocked her door. A man in a cap stepped out of the SUV with a camera. He aimed it at her. She turned her face away and got in the car. As she drove off, the SUV followed. She did not panic. She had learned that panic feeds beasts. She took 2 right turns and 1 left, then entered a busy market road where Danfo buses and yellow kike squeezed the space into a puzzle. She slid into a fuel station, parked near the air pump, and waited. The SUV passed by in the traffic tide and vanished. Felicia exhaled and sent a text to Maxwell. "She will help. Meet confirmed. 9 p.m. Location, Victoria Suites, Rooftop Lounge." Maxwell's reply was instant. "Security set. Lawal booked Okori. We go quiet, then we go loud." At 8:25 p.m., Maxwell stood at his wardrobe, staring at a black jacket. He had worn a similar jacket the night he found Sandra in the hotel. This was a new night, but it carried the old weight. He buttoned it anyway. Felicia came in with a small case. "Wired," she said. Inside were 2 tiny mics and a power bank. "You speak. The truth listens." He smiled at her, tired but grateful. "If I did not have you—" "You do," she said, and fixed the mic under his collar with her careful fingers. He held her hands. "When this ends, we will take our child to the sea and teach him how to laugh at waves." She nodded, eyes shining. "Win first, then we laugh." He left the house with 2 guards and a driver who had driven him since his first loan car, old, quiet, loyal. The night air was wet and cool. The city lights blinked like they had their own secret language. At Victoria Suites, he walked through the lobby like a man without time. On the elevator ride up, he could hear the tiny mic in his ear and the soft click of the second one hidden in his wristwatch. When the doors opened, the rooftop lounge was near empty. Rain had kept rich people indoors. At a corner table under a canopy, Chairman Okori sat with a neat cap, a ring that could scratch glass, and a smile that did not reach his eyes. On his left, Barrister Tega. On his right, Collins. Maxwell walked toward them. His steps were slow. His heart was not. "Good evening, boys," Okori said like a headmaster. Maxwell sat. A waiter placed water and left. For a beat, they listened to the city breathe under the rain. Okori's smile thinned. "Maxwell, you are getting old. You used to call me for advice." Maxwell's voice was flat. "Then I grew up." Tega leaned forward. "Let's finish it fast. You will step aside for 6 months. You will sign the charity foundation over to my client." "What client?" Maxwell asked. Tega blinked once. "My client is a private donor." Maxwell looked at Collins. "And you?" Collins tried to smile. It looked like pain. "I want what I deserve." "You deserve a mirror," Maxwell said, "so you can look at the man who sold his name for crumbs." Okori chuckled. "Let's not trade poetry. The media is hungry. The banks are ready. The judge is willing. Choose peace." Maxwell picked up his water and took a slow sip. The mic under his collar hummed. Somewhere below, in 2 parked cars, officers watched green lines dance across a screen. He set the glass down and said 3 words: "Play your hand." Tega reached into his briefcase, pulled out a file and slid it across the table. It was stamped with the logo of a bank and the name of a foundation Maxwell had never owned. "Sign," Tega said, "and the story sleeps." Maxwell looked down at the file, then up at the 3 faces across the table. He could hear Felicia in his memory. Go quiet, then go loud. He smiled, small, almost gentle. "Okay," he said, "let us sign." A shadow stepped out from behind the service bar, lifting a phone to record. It was Sandra. And the camera light turned on. Sandra's hand shook, but the camera stayed steady. She stood behind a column, far enough to be unseen, close enough to record every word. Anita was in the elevator, ready to press close if anything went wrong. 2 plainclothes officers sat by the railing, faces hidden behind newspapers, ears open. Maxwell took the pen. He let it hover over the paper. "Before I sign," he said softly, "tell me where the charity money goes." Tega's mouth tightened. "That is not your concern." Okori's eyes narrowed. "You are delaying." Maxwell turned the page. On the back was a list of vendors. They were shells. He recognized none. One name repeated, Amandla Logistics. He remembered it, Okori's side company from years ago. He looked up and met Okori's eyes. "Your greed has a signature." Okori smiled without warmth. "And your fear has a smell." Maxwell set the pen down. "This is how we will do it. I will wire a test amount now. If you can show me the donor signs his part, I will sign the rest." Tega traded a quick look with Okori. Collins bit his lip. Okori nodded once. "Fine, transfer 5 million. Maxwell pulled out his phone. He typed slowly, then he pressed his thumb. A message popped. Transfer successful. Across the table, Tega's phone vibrated. He checked it, face easing. Good. He signed a page and pushed it toward Maxwell. "Now you." Maxwell leaned back. "One more thing," he said. He nodded toward Collins. "Tell him to say it." "The name of the plan he and you used." Collins blinked. Okori's gaze sharpened. Tega's jaw flexed. "Say it," Maxwell repeated, voice calm steel. "Say the name." Collins swallowed. "Option A." Maxwell smiled, small, sad. "Thank you." He lifted his glass and tapped it twice on the table. 2 clicks. Downstairs, a hand pressed a radio. "Move." The rooftop doors burst open. Police poured in. "Nobody move." Jackets flashed, hands went up, voices collided, chairs scraped. Tega jumped to his feet. "This is illegal. Sit down," an inspector said, placing a file on the table. Inside was a court order signed an hour earlier by a different judge, one not in Okori's pocket. Bank sting authorized, wire recorded, voices captured, counsel, you are under arrest for conspiracy to extort and for running a false charity network. Okori rose slowly, fury in his eyes, ring glittering. Do you know who I am? The inspector did not blink. A man who is coming with us. He turned to Collins. And you, violation of bail, criminal conspiracy. Stand up. Tega tried to slide his phone into his sleeve. A constable caught it and bagged it. Chain of custody secure, the constable said. Live mic confirmed. Sandra stepped out, camera still pointed. Her chest rose and fell like a drum. Tega's face went white. You, he hissed. Sandra did not flinch. I am done burning, she said. Find someone else to use. Okori stared at Maxwell across the table. You brought a woman to a war. Maxwell's voice was gentle, the kind of gentle that comes after long storms. I brought truth. Felicia appeared at the door with Anita behind her. She walked to Maxwell and stood at his side. The inspector nodded to her with quiet respect. Okori looked from Felicia to Maxwell and laughed once, a sound like metal on stone. You think this ends me? Maxwell picked up the pen and signed a different paper the inspector laid down, a statement confirming the sting. No, he said softly. It ends me from you. As the officers led Tega and Collins away, Okori looked at Lawal, who had crept in and now stood near the exit, sweating. Lawal, Okori said coldly, choose. Lawal's mouth opened and closed. He looked at Maxwell, eyes wet. Sir, forgive me, he whispered. I was weak. Maxwell held his gaze. Then be strong now. Lawal stepped in front of the inspector. I will cooperate. I will testify. I will hand over emails. I will help clean what I helped dirty. The inspector nodded. Do that. Okori took one step forward. 2 officers blocked him. He stopped, rolled his shoulders and let his smile return. Boys, he said to no one and everyone, remember this. Power does not die. It waits. The elevator doors closed on his face. The rooftop grew quiet. The rain finally stopped. Felicia exhaled, and with it months of held breath left her body. She touched Maxwell's arm, then looked at Sandra. The woman in the hoodie lowered her camera and stared at the city lights with eyes that finally looked like eyes again. Thank you, Felicia said. Sandra nodded once. Do not thank me. Thank your courage. Downstairs, a reporter shouted into a live camera, breaking, police arrest Okori's team in charity extortion scandal. Chief Maxwell cleared in dramatic rooftop sting. The city began to buzz. Morning arrived soft and golden, like the city wanted to start fresh. Social feeds changed in hours, from gossip to gratitude, from lies to headlines with real names, real charges, real shame for the real guilty. Billionaire sting exposes false charity ring. Okori Ali and lawyer Tega arrested. Deputy Collins violates bail, faces new counts. Court denies asset freeze, orders voice forensics. Chief Maxwell's recording saves company and name. At home, Felicia walked through the living room carrying the baby. Maxwell stood at the window reading a message from Mrs. Omole. Judge assigned for forensics is clean. Also, bank unfreezing complete. He smiled and turned to Felicia. We won, he said. She smiled back. We told the truth. The doorbell rang. Anita entered with a small bag. Behind her, Sandra came in slowly, without the hoodie, wearing a simple Ankara dress. She looked like a person who had slept for the first time in a year. Felicia stepped forward, unsure if she should hug her. Sandra solved it. She bowed her head instead. I came to say sorry, Sandra said, to both of you. I destroyed what I had, and then I tried to destroy what I did not have. I will face court. I will tell the truth. I will accept whatever comes. Maxwell nodded. That is the only way to start again. Sandra's voice broke. I am also ready to return the bracelet and the car keys I kept when I left. They called it compensation. It was theft. Take them. Felicia touched her arm gently. Return them to the police through your lawyer. Let everything be clean. Sandra looked up, surprised by kindness. Her lips trembled into the smallest smile. Thank you. For not spitting on me. Maxwell sighed. Pain is loud, he said, but mercy speaks longer. They sat. Tea was poured. The baby laughed at nothing and everything, the way babies do. For 20 minutes, 4 adults were just people in a room, not enemies in a war. The door opened again. Mr. Lawal entered, suit wrinkled from a night without sleep. He held a hard drive and a folder. I have brought the emails, he said, and the bank trail, and my resignation letter. Maxwell shook his head. No resignation, stay, work, repair. Lawal's eyes filled. I don't deserve. You are right, Maxwell said. But I am not giving a gift you deserve. I am giving a chance you need. Lawal bowed his head. I will not waste it. By afternoon, the police held a press briefing. The inspector spoke calmly. Okori's network used a fake charity to move money. Tega designed documents. Collins delivered leaks. A judge was being questioned. The state would prosecute. A reporter asked, Is Chief Maxwell a victim or a partner? The inspector answered, He is a witness and a survivor. In the evening, the board met in the same room where Fear had tried to sit on the head chair. Maxwell entered with Felicia at his side. Lawal sat straight. 2 members who wavered before now looked ashamed. The motion on the table was simple. Full vote of confidence in Maxwell as CEO, creation of an independent ethics unit, public donation to real charities audited by an external firm. It passed in 10 minutes. Maxwell looked out the window at the Lagos sky turning orange. He remembered a boy in Delta State who had promised never to let poverty own his children. He remembered building. He remembered falling. He remembered standing up again. He tapped the table. One more thing, he said. They looked at him. We will start a foundation, he said, and saw Felicia's soft smile grow. But not in my name, in my mother's name. And this time, for real. The first project, a center that helps women and men leave toxic marriages with dignity and safety. We will call it Light After Rain. There was a silence that felt like respect. Later that night, they held a small dinner at home. No loud music. No big speeches. Just jollof, chicken, laughter, and relief. Sandra came with Anita and sat by the window, quiet but present. When she stood to leave, she turned to Felicia. May I ask for one more mercy, she said. Felicia nodded. Ask. Do not let me disappear, Sandra whispered. Sometimes the worst punishment is to be unseen. If I rebuild, may I bring you proof once in a while. Felicia walked to her and hugged her, simple and warm. Bring it. Maxwell walked them to the gate. Sandra paused and faced him. Thank you, she said, for not turning me into your lifelong enemy. Maxwell looked at the night sky. We all need a door, he said. Today I gave you one. Walk through. They left. The house grew quiet. Felicia came to the porch with the baby asleep on her shoulder. The city hummed its soft night song. Maxwell wrapped an arm around his wife and kissed the top of his child's head. Tomorrow, he said, we go to the beach. Felicia smiled. And teach him to laugh at waves. He chuckled. Yes, and to build a sandcastle that does not fear the tide. From somewhere far away, thunder whispered, not a warning, but a memory. The rain had fallen, the storm had passed, the house smelled like pepper soup and peace. Inside, on the mantel, Maxwell placed the little note that once tried to scare him, "Give me back what is mine. See." He burned it with a match until it turned to a curl of black ash. Then he opened the window and let the night wind carry it away. He closed the window, turned off the light, and walked toward his family. Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories.